Well, hey there, guys. I'm Axel the Beast, and this is the Curiosity Shop, the ZeldaEngine.net video mailbag where I answer your Zelda questions. And like last time, this one's going to be entirely Majora's Mask related, so be sure to send me Majora's Mask questions after you've watched the video for next week's mailbag, which will also be Majora's Mask related since it's Majora's Mask month still. Our first question comes from Cram. If somebody played the Song of Healing for you, what kind of mask would you end up as? That's a very creative question, actually. I like that one a lot. For me personally, I think I would turn to something like, I don't know, the mask of the awesome goatee, or the mask of annoyingly sentient, obnoxiously hard-to-style hair. Or, you know, just crazy hair. Or, I'm kidding, of course. I'd like to hear what you guys would say. I'm not sure what I would turn into in all seriousness. That would likely be some kind of underlying element of my actual, like, deep psychology, emotional backstory that even I couldn't necessarily tell you. Or maybe I could if I thought about it well enough, but in preparation for the mailbag, it's not exactly enough time. It would look like my face, probably. Most of them do, in that way. Or it would look somehow styled weirdly after my face. And it would likely have some kind of trait or carry some kind of emotion of mine. So maybe it would just make you really excitable. February Eve asks, how many times have you replayed Majora's Mask? Actually, only about twice. If you're counting, like, full playthroughs. Well, not 100% runs. I've never 100%ed a Zelda game, but, you know, like, getting to the end of the game and beating Majora. I've played it a lot of times, probably more than I can count, but in terms of starting it from the beginning and going all the way to the end, only twice. One was the first time, and the second was, well, mostly a minimalist run from the game. And yeah, so that's all I've done. I don't replay the Zelda games a lot. I don't replay games in general a lot, but yeah. Lon Rancher asks, in a game with so many well-developed bit characters, I feel like I got personally invested in just about every character I came across in Majora's Mask. What was your favorite side storyline / side quest in Majora's Mask? You know, there were so many I loved, and I'm exactly like you. I got emotionally invested in all of them. That was one of the reasons I loved Majora's Mask, more so than any other Zelda game, or video games in general. I just felt like I was part of this world, and I really felt emotionally attached to these characters because I got to learn a lot about them. It was an amazing quality of the game, and I got really wrapped up in it. And, I don't know, if I had to pick a favorite, and I loved all of them, and in a way, most of them are part of the Anju and Cathay, you know, massive quest, because most of them bleed into that. But if I was to pick one, other than saying it was just part of that and counting them all as one, I'd have to pick, I think, the everything involving Romanai Ranch, basically. The aliens, the emotional moment where you protected Crimea from the bandits and such. I just thought those were great stuff, great characters, and the alien attack was, frankly, completely hilariously amazing. I mean, who expected aliens? The Flatwoods monster, it was just, that was epic. And I actually replay that side quest regularly. Justin asks, we know who the Goron and Zora you transform into are, but who do you think the Deku is? This isn't 100% proven, as in it's never been, like, explicitly stated, but basically that tree that you saw when you were wandering through the forest at the beginning of the game, that title says looks like you, is, at the end of the game you see the Deku Butler kneeling before that thing. And earlier in the game he says, in your Deku form you look just like his son. So that tree is his son. I mean, if you're connecting these, the tree is his son, and you are his son. Either somehow his spirit was part of the curse that Majora gave you, perhaps Majora took his life and used it to turn you into a Deku, or, I don't know, just something like that. Or maybe he, you know, yeah, that it's the Deku Butler's son. We can call him Deku Jr. I just thought of that. Kishi asks, in Majora's Mask you can turn into a Goron, Zora, and Deku. What other transformations would you have liked to have in the game? Well, the thing about the Deku is, among those, it was actually odd. It was kind of a stretch turning into the Deku. The Goron and Zora made sense. The Deku was an enemy in the previous games. It wasn't a full species. The idea of it being a full, like, race with its own civilization was a little new, although they did act a bit intelligent in Ocarina of Time. in terms of Majora's Mask, there wasn't a lot of choices other than just monsters and stuff. Though it would have been kind of interesting if you had gone to Icona, and you could turn into both like an Iconian soldier, maybe like a stall child or stall foes or something, and a Garo ninja robe ghost thing. That would have been kind of intriguing. They wouldn't even need to make them that different. I mean, they could just make like the Iconian is tougher and stronger, while the Garo is more agile and quick and stuff. But they didn't even need to make them that different from Link. It could have just been a way to deepen the conflict between the two sides, the fact that you could turn into one or the other and interact with either side as either form. That would have been really interesting. I think that would have really added a lot of depth. Daniel Proctor asks, in Majora's Mask it says that Link is looking for a friend he parted ways with after fulfilling his destiny. If Link was in the woods looking for this person, knowing that Saria said that Link and her would see each other again, what would be the chances that he was looking for Saria, not Navi? I'd say almost non-existent for one primary reason. He knew where Saria is. Why would he be looking for her? I know you're going to say, oh, she became a sage. She was in that weird spirit thingy. She disappeared. No, that was in the adult timeline after, before he had been sent back in time. In the child timeline, which is where Majora's Mask takes place, he was not, I mean, he hadn't saved the world yet, thus he hadn't made Saria been responsible for saving Saria as a sage. So Saria should still be in the Kokiri Forest, and they can't leave the Kokiri Forest, so she'd still be there. There's no reason for him to look for her. That's not possible. Or at least it wouldn't make sense. Mr. Penguin 64 asks, if Termina is an opposite Hyrule, then why do you think there is no opposite hero? I think it's really as simple as he didn't appear in the game. I mean, you could say, I'm not thinking of anything, but, you could just say, well, why didn't this thing appear in the game? I mean, there's a lot of things that aren't going to appear in the game. It was a whole world. Of course they're not going to work everything that exists into the game. Link probably had a parallel. There's no reason that I necessarily think he was a hero. He might have just been some farm boy. I mean, that's what Link always is, right? And the thing is that if there had been another hero, he wouldn't have had any reason to save Termina. But also, there's a theory running around that Cafe, the little purple-haired kid, he's actually the alternate Link. And I don't really think so at all. I don't think there's a lot of reason to think so. They don't look alike. I don't see a lot of similarities, really. All the other guys look pretty much alike. I don't see it. And this is going to sound weird, but I think that the Deku Butler's son is actually almost more likely to be the alternate Link, even though he's a Deku, and that's just obviously not the case. Linkmaster1 asks, how did the Happy Mask Salesman get his hands on Majora's Mask in the first place? If I've got my facts straight, and I'm pretty sure I do, he basically says that he wanted it for whatever reason, because he's a collector or something, and he basically just sought it out. He knew about the legends for whatever reason, and he decided, I want that mask. He didn't seem like he wanted to do anything evil with it. He said, I can handle it. And he was right. He could handle its power. It wasn't a danger to him, but the Skull Kid couldn't, and he's the one who stole it. Still kind of the Happy Mask Salesman's fault, though, if you really think about it. Agonim's alter ego, you mean Ganon? Asks, I've heard that there are a Triforce in Stone Tower Temple in Majora's Mask, but I can't find it. Can you please tell me where it is? I actually was stuck. I had trouble with this too, but I found it out recently. If you go to when you're in Stone Tower, at the top before you go into the temple, you'll see these blocks, and they'll have these creepy. They're the blocks that you use to get to the temple, and on them are these creepy patterns of this guy on grabbing his knees, and he's got his tongue hanging out. Once you flip the temple, you'll see that the tongue actually wraps around the other side onto the bottom of the block, and there's the Triforce at the tip of its tongue. Yeah, that's where the Triforce is. Sakon the Thief asks, do you think we will see Majora in person and not his Wrath or Incarnation in future games? The thing is the Wrath and Incarnation, I think that was Majora. I don't think Majora was a person. I'm pretty sure he was some kind of demon or entity or dark god, and I think that Incarnation was him beginning to turn into his true form, and I think that Wrath was either his very true form, that's what he was or is, or it was like the form he took on as a representation or extension of his true form because he was pissed, hence Wrath. But I think that was most likely his actual true form. That's what I've always thought. Oh, one more thing. Yeah, that's also backed up by the fact that that face has been almost shown depicted in Stone Tower Temple. So if that's the face they show, it probably was his true face. That or the mask, you know. Bunnyhood524 asks, in Majora's Mask, they say that an old tribe used the Majora's Mask in rituals. So my question is, could that tribe be the Dark Tribe by any chance? Yes, actually, completely so. They actually call it the Dark Tribe. One of the few cases of the term Dark Tribe actually being used. And some people connect that with the other Dark Tribes, and some people consider it separate, or an alternate Dark Tribe because it's Termina, the alternate dimension. Last question. Hylian09 asks, at the end of Majora's Mask, after you beat the game, Link leaves Termina to go back on his journey to find his beloved and invaluable friend, most likely Navi, like you said. Do you believe that he found Navi, and if he didn't, what do you think happened to him? Have you ever thought about it, or do you believe it takes away from the mysterious nature of the game? Well, I don't think theorizing takes away from the mysterious nature. I think theorizing is what strengthens it, really. I don't think a lot happened, really. I don't think he necessarily found Navi, though I can't really say there. What I think happened is, whatever happened to him specifically, however his life exactly carried out, I think he went on to just live his life and not interfere with the timeline where his future self defeats Ganon. Because I don't believe Ocarina of Time was originally built with the timeline split in mind. So I believe that the original intention was that Link in the future, Link sleeps in the Temple of Time for 7 years. In the future, he defeats Ganon. He's sent back to go live out his life, which he does by going to Majora's Mask and then just going on to live out his... Finish the sentence for me. But I think that the hero of time, his younger version, was still sleeping in the Temple of Time to be awakened in the future and defeat Ganon. So that was still going to happen, all that stuff in the future. I think that was the original intention anyway. And so I don't think anything spectacular happened. I just don't think he messed with the timeline. Alright, that's it for this time, guys. Be sure to send more Majora's Mask questions to the email address in the description for, next week's mailbag, which will be, again, Majora's Mask related. Alright, that's all. Thanks for watching. See you later.